You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports 2. Well, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson. We've got a couple of things. We got the Patriots saying thanks, but no thanks to Lamar. He's not going to the New England Patriots. I thought that would get shut down pretty quick. There's a number of reasons why. But just say it out loud. Bill Belichick paying a quarterback $45 million when he has two on the roster, they're on rookie contracts. You just bring back Bill O'Brien to work specifically with Mac Jones. Robert Kraft just got through gushing over Mac the other day. And I don't see Bill Belichick trading 2 first-round picks. So that's probably the biggest reasons why, and we'll take a glance at that. But the Athletic shot it down and said, no, per league source, that's not going to happen. And then we have the other thing that is starting to gain steam, a lot of steam, because this article is CBS Sports, but ESPN has now brought it up, NFL Media has now brought it up, and Mike Florio brought it up at length today on the Pro Football Talk television show. But it's starting to get real. There's starting to be real conversations happening about the idea that Lamar Jackson might sit out the entire 2023 season. I think it's a god-awful idea by Lamar Jackson, but he's running out of options because it looks like all 31 other teams have just said no to Lamar. So I don't know if he's bound and determined to not play under that franchise tag and he doesn't want to go back to the Ravens, then he may have to sit out. If this is, and look, he needs an agent. We've said that. Look, I'm not a Lamar Jackson hater. I'm not. I get it. He probably is sitting back as a league MVP and he's thinking, Daniel Jones is making how much? But the fact is, he's banged the drum for this Deshaun Watson guaranteed contract, and he's not going to get it. Teams have made it clear it's just not going to happen. Now, this article goes on, does a recap about the Robert Kraft Meek Mill thing the other day, and Kraft said, hey, look, it would have to be Bill's decision. And so the Athletic just come out, and who is this? Jeff Howe? Let me see. Yep, Jeff Howe. It's not going to happen according to a league source. And it goes on to talk about all the things involving not only the contract, but the fact that it just doesn't match the MO of the Patriots. I thought it sounded crazy when it was milling around out there, but you never know. Lamar Jackson could sit out the 2023 season. Why the Ravens star should do it, why he shouldn't. But this is starting to gain traction now. The Ravens, of course, would be glad to have him back, but they, like the rest of the NFL to this point, have failed to meet Jackson's demands for a long-term contract. Sure, there are concerns, such as the fact that Jackson has missed 5 games in each of the last 2 seasons due to injury, or the fact that he leans heavily on his legs, or the fact that he's yet to have a truly productive playoff appearance. All of those are valid points, absolutely. But the real holdup has been the well-documented, probably lies chiefly with the structure of his preferred contract. Ever since Deshaun Watson landed a record 5-year fully guaranteed deal from the Browns last season, Jackson has been angling for similar security, and teams are both publicly and privately wary of continuing that trend. It's why multiple outlets from ESPN to NFL Media, and like I said, now today, Florio, have now reported or speculated that Jackson could end up sitting out the 2023 season entirely. There's no current indication, even from the desperately quarterback-needy teams, that Jackson is a viable target. Jackson, meanwhile, has gone public with a trade request from the Ravens, suggesting he's already disenfranchised with the Baltimore's efforts to retain him. Assuming neither side budges, the reasoning goes that the QB could simply refuse to sign the tag, avoid penalties for holding out, and attempt to re-enter the market in 2024. Now, this is how this could work, A year from now, other young MVP types like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, or Jalen Hurts will presumably have signed their own lucrative deals. Some could normalize the stronger guarantees Jackson is reportedly seeking in contract talks. If they don't, well, then Jackson will have a more realistic model for getting his own money. In other words, depending on what they get paid, maybe he will come to the realization it's not going to happen. I don't know that that's going to happen. He also more than likely would be a true free agent, seeing as the Ravens would likely be required to use a second straight franchise tag if they wanted to retain Jackson in 2024. The options then would be get a nice raise and another offer of guaranteed money from Baltimore despite not taking a single snap the year prior, or hit the market for real where interested teams wouldn't have to surrender the 2 first-round draft picks they'd have to give up this offseason with Baltimore controlling his rights. There's a case to be made, even coming off of 2 straight injury-riddled seasons, that Jackson has more to lose than gain by suiting up in 2023. Yeah, but, I mean, wouldn't he be better off suiting up and playing the entire year, taking his team to the playoffs, and then trying to get paid? I mean, come on. If he goes down again, his value will decrease ahead of an actual chance to explore the market. Do we believe his value is going to increase if he sets out a year? I mean, really? Because, look, Deshaun Watson's a better pocket passer than Lamar Jackson. I can admit that. Well, I mean, Deshaun Watson didn't look very good after sitting out, okay? And he's a better pure quarterback. But no, he didn't look great this last year, and we know that was after sitting out. Jackson would still be just 27 and theoretically healthier and more rested than ever if he waited to suit up until 2024. The most immediate blow would come in the checkbook, as Jackson would be forfeiting a borderline top 10 QB salary, a guaranteed $32.4 million provided by the tag. If he refused to sign and skip the season, he'd of course also be forfeiting any shot of a multi-year deal with Baltimore, at least until 2024, even though the Ravens have apparently been willing to extend him on a top 6 quarterback contract. Now, see, that's perfectly fair. And here's the cold reality of the Baltimore situation. As disappointing as the Ravens' wide receiver investments have been, Jackson's current team has mostly leaned in to his unique strength as a athlete, prioritizing the run. Head coach John Harbaugh has always wholeheartedly endorsed the quarterback, his style, and his leadership. Jackson knows Baltimore, and Baltimore knows Jackson. So it stands to reason that his best path to earning the deal he wants is proving once and for all he can stay on the field, transcend whatever supporting cast the Ravens provide, and force a team to reward the results. There's also the element of rust. Should Jackson sit out, we have 2 recent pieces of evidence in Watson and former Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell, who sat out 2018 instead of playing under the tag. This suggests a year away from the game takes a physical or mental toll. If the teams are willing to meet Jackson's demands now, are they going to line up in 2024 knowing he hasn't played since December 2022 and will presumably be leaving the Ravens system that housed his MVP emergence? And let's just say the next wave of big QB deals from Burrow, Herbert, and Hurts don't swing the market in his favor. It's hard to imagine his best argument for a rich reward would be, look at how I finished 2021 and 2022. Yeah, that would not be a good look for him. And I'm going to tell you, there's another thing that we're not talking about in all this at all, and it's not being brought up at all. Do you have any idea how well respected Steve Bisciotti is as an NFL owner? This is considered one of the premier, most stable NFL franchises in all of the league. John Harbaugh is loved across the league. He's respected. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. I mean, let's be real. John Harbaugh is considered what? let's see, we got Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Tomlin, Shanahan, McVay, Harbaugh. I mean, he's got to be at least in the top 5 to 6 conversation as one of the top head coaches in all of football as well. Okay, so you've got a well-respected owner and a very well-respected head football coach and a very respected and stable franchise. And teams around the league are sitting back going, you want to leave that? Really? You want to leave that? And they're taking a look at that and going, there's got to be a reason why Harbaugh and Baltimore ownership is not willing to give this guy a contract any bigger than they are. And I do believe that there is a part of this where the league is sitting back, taking a look and going, yeah, we didn't agree with the Deshaun Watson contract. Well, we know that's fact. I mean, that's fact at this point. But they're laying back going, we're not pursuing this guy because we have too much respect for the organization and what they've done and the ownership and what they've done. And there's got to be a problem maybe with the player if this ownership that's this stable is willing to have this much chaos all around it all of a sudden. I mean, one could ask, what better situation are you hoping for, Lamar, than Baltimore? Think about that a minute, right? Because no, the Niners are not going after him. That's not happening. Okay? The Eagles don't need him. The Chiefs don't need him. You get the point. You get the point. And there's other teams that just can't afford him, right? I mean, with Matthew Stafford on the books, and I understand nobody's brought up the Rams. Rams are interesting, though. I will say that. I mean, nobody's brought up the Rams. Nobody's brought up the Seahawks. But they got Stafford and Geno's out there on a brand new contract. Lamar Jackson, it would be in his best. You know what his best play would be right now? In all honesty, he got offered 3 with 133 guaranteed. His best bet would be to go back to the Ravens and be like, look, I'm willing to do 4 for 160, 170 guaranteed, $2 million with incentive, $200 million, 210 with incentives, and call it a day. This is just, without him having an agent, this is not working out in the way that he had hoped. And if he sits out, I mean, Florio said today, Florio's the first one that I heard, and I heard it today, just come out and say, will Lamar Jackson ever take another snap in the NFL? I mean, now that's being brought up in the conversation. Is his NFL career potentially over? If he's this willing to stick to his guns, setting out a year is the worst idea ever for Lamar Jackson. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.